Today we are talking about narcissists and verbal abuse. Doesn't that sound fun? Hello and welcome. I'm Leah. Thank you so much for stopping by. I truly appreciate you because I believe you have gifts and talents to share. And when we all do that, we contribute peace to the planet. I want to talk about verbal abuse because verbal abuse is so insidious. Oftentimes it's quiet. Oftentimes the person giving you verbal abuse as a narcissist is very calm, quiet. Like I've mentioned in past videos, they could be a church leader. They could be a healer, somebody who's revered as somebody who's very kind and even empathetic, right? But it's all just an act. Verbal abuse can be as mean as name calling, and yes, words carry energy. There's a beautiful scientific study that this man did on water. I think of the book in my head and I cannot remember his name right now. So if I remember it, I'll link it in the description. But he did this whole study on water. And words do carry raw energy. So he took the exact same water from the exact same source, and he had one cup that he wrote love, beauty, joy, peace on. On another cup of water, same exact source water, same exact type of cup, he wrote hate, evil, jealousy, envy, whatever, just very low vibration words like that. The water that had the hate words turned murky, and under the magnifying glass it was like brown and like just yucky, right? Yucky is the scientific word for it. And the water, of course, that had peace and love and joy had these beautiful crystalline images. And he took all these amazing photos of this, and you can see it in this research that he did, proving that energy is held in words. So you have to be very careful about the words that you say about yourself. You have to be very careful about the words that you adopt in about who you are. A narcissist will throw around words from really, really rude insults. I mean, some of the vile comments that I've even received is like, wow, amazingly vile. Name calling, the C word. I mean, just rude, mean, name calling stuff, right? So that might seem more obvious verbal abuse. The one that I really want to speak about today is the less obvious one. The one that's hidden. The one that if you have a friend who's a narcissist, be a family member, these are the comments that are ambiguous, that are meant to breed insecurity in you, and that are meant to leave you guessing. Is that what they meant? Is that how I am? Is that the truth? Long after the conversation with the narcissist is over. Maybe even long after you have no contact with them. And that's how verbal abuse can attack you. I'll give you an example. I'll give you a couple. In the shorts feed, by the way, I'm doing 50 signs you might be dating a narcissist, and some of them are funny and some of them are serious, and they're just quick 15-second shorts. So I'll link that as well in the description, and if you want to watch those or anybody that you love could use those, please do share, because they seem so obvious. But when you have them all put together, you go, oh, I see what I'm dealing with here. Because again, you might gaslight yourself into thinking, no, they didn't mean that. Doesn't matter what they mean. Energy is held in what they say and how they say it. So pay attention when words come out you, whether there's some crazy name calling thing or whether it's more hidden than that. So I'll give you an example of how verbal abuse can start to get really close to this person. It can really ramp up. If it's a family member, they might get really used to verbally abusing you and just throw them your way anytime, because they get a high off of that. They get a high off of that just as much. That's how they get validation. They like knocking people down. Why do you think trolls exist on the internet? That always fascinates me. Like, so it's one thing to disagree with somebody or have a dialogue about something, but to just troll the internet and find somebody that you decided you don't like and call them names, that's a waste of creative energy in my mind. But I know for people like that, that they get off on that because they have to be getting a payoff, because otherwise, why would you do it? So the ones that are secretive are things like, I remember I was dating a guy once, and he was like, gosh, it's so hard to get, good abs, like really good abs. It's so hard. And I was like, I think you look great, because I was like, I didn't want to talk about that. I didn't want to go into a bash dive of self-deprecating myself and talking about insecurities. I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to take his bait. And I thought he really did look great. So I thought I could negate the situation by giving him a compliment. But it wasn't enough, see, because he really wanted to bash me, is what he wanted to do. So I'm like, I think you look great. Like, you're super in shape and you look amazing and everything. And he was like, no, but it's really hard. I mean, some people have super sexy abs. And I mean, for people like you and me, it's obviously really hard for us, right? It's hard for us to get really good, sexy abs, is what I'm saying. And it just leaves you right, yeah, I got it. I've signed up with you to agree. I mean, so you're just left there going, yeah, because if you defend yourself, then they're going to say, well, yours aren't good. And if you don't do anything, now you're just signing up. And if you chime in with them, which a lot of them love. I've even had narcissistic friends say that they didn't want to hang out with me because I was being too happy. And they were feeling really negative. So I got a punishment for being happy. And also I got a scolding one time from an old narcissistic friend because I was posting happy, positive things, uplifting things on my Facebook. And she was like, Leah, why are you so fake? Why don't you just tell people the truth, that it's hard to be a single mom and that it's hard to run a business? Why don't you just say that? But what helps me is to go into the light. So that's what I want to share. Sharing these YouTube videos about narcissism isn't easy. And I'm not friends with any narcissists now, but they would say, well, you shouldn't do that. So the same people who bash me about the way that I look now because I have eyelashes and I'm playing around with my looks because I lost my eyelashes and my eyebrows were the same people who also would verbally abuse me for looking like I still had cancer because I had no eyelashes and eyebrows. They're the same people who would say to me, I am a natural blonde, and I started dyeing my hair brown 310 years ago, and they would be like, oh, I liked it better blonde. You look hard as a brunette, without me even asking their opinion. They'll just say that. That's verbal abuse. When somebody says their opinion unsolicited and it's rude, that is verbal and emotional abuse. You still look really sick. Are you sure you're okay? What's wrong with your eyelashes? And then you get eyelashes. Too many. Are you sure you want that many? I don't really like them. Verbal abuse. You like that dress? Interesting. Verbal abuse. Aren't they so hot? Don't you wish that you look like that? That's verbal abuse. That's the sneaky, covert type. It can be very painful because when you start calling, out people, and especially narcissists, and a lot of people will say don't, right? And if you're not safe, some of these people can be very violent, so make sure you're safe. I never want to put anybody in harm's way. You don't want to poke the bear, but see, that's how they get us to be so quiet. You can say little things like, what is your intention with that comment? And just get them to talk more. Oh, I just think that dress doesn't look good on you, so I just wanted to tell you because a friend should tell friends when they don't look good, right? And you don't have to agree. And this is also, I'm not trying to sell you my classes, but this is where the Meisner technique can be a very helpful benefit for you. It's an acting technique, but you can call moments. It teaches you how to call out moments without agreeing with them, but they're just factual. So you can be with what's present without accepting it in a way that, like, I want this to be my reality forever. I'm just accepting what is and working with what is. So if somebody's like, well, I just think that dress looks terrible, and I just, as a friend, want you to know, because wouldn't you want to know? And you can say, well, that's an interesting opinion. Thank you for your opinion. You can still thank them for opinion. Doesn't mean that you like their opinion. Doesn't mean that you're going to adhere to their opinion. Yes, it might poke the bear a little bit, but it's not going, well, you're rude. You're not getting into the reactive abuse. Like, you're rude, or calling them names, or I think your dress is stupid. You just reiterate, what is your intention with that? Oh, so you were interested in my highest and best. Well, I really appreciate that. Thank you. Again, you don't have to agree with them. If you really love the dress, you can just say, oh, so your intention was you're interested in me looking my best. That I can appreciate. Thank you. And they'll go, well, are you going to change? You're like, well, no, because I like this dress, but I thank you. So that's why it's better to just get away from them if you can. But if you absolutely have to, just what is your intention with that? So to go all the way back to step one, what I wish I said when this last guy that I dated was proudly exclaiming that he's emotionally unavailable, and it's like, that's a lure for so many girls, including me, because it's like, I'll be the one. I'll be the magical one, right? Like I joked in past video, like girls think, like, I have the best poontang in Denver. And they're like, yep, prove it. I mean, it's just terrible, right? It's terrible. So if I have somebody that I'm interested in dating say that to me, I'll say, so what is your intention in getting, I don't know that I'll ever date on a dating site again, now that I know that they are infiltrated by narcissists, sociopaths, and psychopaths, which is terrifying. 90% or more is filled with that. So I don't know that I'll be doing any dating sites. But if I was to be on a dating site and they said that, I'd say, so what is your intention on being on a dating site? If you're emotionally unavailable, what is your intention in being on a dating site? Why not get a, whatever that is, OnlyFans site or something? If you want to be emotionally unavailable, what is your intention? What is your intention with being emotionally unavailable? Now, this is what's tricky, because like that guy said to me, well, I'm working on it. I don't want to be this way. I think it might be different here, right? And that's how they also bait you in. So even if you might have said something like what I just said, because he did say that to me too. Oh, well, I'm working on it. I'm in therapy. I don't want to be this way, right? But the proof is in the pudding, whatever that means. Have you had pudding lately? I don't know. The proof is in there, though, so you better go check. You just like pull out a giant narcissist. You're like, what is this narcissist doing in my pudding? That was weird. This video has taken a turn for epic adventures. All right. So verbal abuse can be very, very tricky. I was out with somebody one time, and she was verbally abusing me, saying, well, you just have, a bad picker, and you just always do this, and you always do that, and declaring over my life. Somebody who's emotionally available, who's also evolving and growing and interested in a deep, real connection with you, whether that's friendship or business or anything, they're not going to put words in your mouth, and they're not going to leave you feeling like, oh, I guess I am stupid, right? Because they realize that if they don't have anything nice to say, they just don't say anything. If you don't like your friend's dress, you probably just won't say anything. Now, if they're asking your opinion, it's different and you can be kind in a different way. But to just volunteer, and also look on energy. If somebody's feeling great in something, don't bash them down. They feel great. That is what's important. You're not their stylist. So I had another friend one time walk into my mom's house and start judging the way she decorated everything. Like, oh, that's terrible. And who would ever like that? And it's like, well, my mom would. That's why she decorated it like this. How rude. That is so rude. This isn't your house. This is my mom and her husband's house. And they get to enjoy it how they want to enjoy it. And if you don't like it, that's fine. You don't have to go through and critique everything that you don't like. It's not your house. That's rude. That's verbal abuse. So it can go from that secretive thing, kind of like hidden, all the way to just full blast name calling. But I guarantee somebody who can do the little hidden rudeness can also do the full blast rudeness. So if you haven't seen it yet, you know what's coming in the sequels, right? Knowledge is power. Stay away from anyone verbally abusive. And if you have to be around them, just ask, what is your intention with this? What is your intention with this? Are you meaning to verbally abuse me right now? Because that's how it's coming across. I don't think that's your intention, is it? And you can also uninvite yourself to the engagement. Oh, you're wanting to verbally attack me. I don't want to engage in that. Yeah, they're going to be mad about that. Again, make sure you're safe, because if we're dealing with psychopaths and sociopaths, your safety could be in really harm's way. And there's some very violent narcissists out there. But you're allowed to live your life. You're allowed to explore. You're allowed to be in your own skin. You're allowed to wear things that make you feel good. And if you've been a victim of narcissistic abuse and verbal abuse, you may not even know what that is anymore. You may be asking permission. Can I wear makeup? Can I not wear makeup? What does everybody else think? Am I allowed to try something new? Yeah, you are. And I'm sending so much love to you. Some people will try to say you're only authentic if you dress the way that they dictate. If you do your hair the way that they dictate. That's not authentic. That's being a robot. That's being a puppet. Being authentic is trying things for you, whatever that means to you. Thank you so much for being here. Please do make a comment. Let me know, have you been verbally abused? How are you dealing with it? How do you cope with it? And what's going on in your world, so that we can heal this stuff. And the comments can be extremely healing for everybody to connect. So connect in this free, abundant community. Let's lift each other up. Let's raise the vibration. Please do subscribe and hit the bell if you haven't yet, because that energy lifts it up. It's like, woo! You're lifting up the vibration of energy in your entire body. And maybe also try that experiment. Put some words on your water bottle and imagine that you're drinking up love, health, wholeness, beauty. You are that. You are all that. And a bag of chips. Yep, I said it. I brought it back. All right. Thank you. I'll see you next time.